Well. It looks like someone has been watching the Kendro or Chendro channel mere days after uploading my video hating on Ancelotti, giving him grief that nobody else has ever given him except for that end the stream Dave guy. I love that guy, by the way. But after making my voice heard about Ancelotti and why I think he's an absolute fraud, Madrid, they clearly watched my video. They clearly watched my video. It's not a coincidence that I make that video and a mere few days later, Xabi Alonso is confirmed to be the next boss. It's not like that's been in talks for a couple seasons. I don't think that's why. I think they watched my video, went to the office, and was like, yo, let's get Xabi Alonso in because Chendro, he said Ancelotti's not good enough for the job. And what does Chendro do? He just speaks facts, bro. Anyway, I'm going to stop glazing myself and I'm actually going to get onto the actual topic of today's video. As you guys may know, Xabi Alonso is Real Madrid's new boss. Now, I just wanted to make a quick video giving my thoughts on this. You know, obviously my last Madrid video done very well. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on this and how I think that it will go for Madrid. First of all, I think that Xabi Alonso I think he'll come in and really do a revamp of the whole squad. He's already signed a defender. He's already signed that Dean Huijsen guy. I don't really know how to say his name properly. I think that's how you say it. But he's already signed him. I kind of, after hearing this, I felt kind of bad for Ancelotti, bro. Like, he definitely wanted to sign a defender whilst he was still at the club. So he must have a pretty bitter reaction seeing Perez give 60 million to Xavi Alonso after he's been the boss for about 3 days. But I think his first signing being a defender is a really, really good sign for Madrid fans. I think it shows that Xavi Alonso, he doesn't really care about bringing in big players anymore. I think he's only going to bring in players that really suit his system, which is what I think Madrid need because let's be honest, they've got enough star power in their team. They don't really need any more big name signings anymore. But into actually how the team is actually going to be sort of laid out, I think he's going to stick to that 3-4-2-1. I think he does have the players to play in that formation. I think with the new Bournemouth centre back coming in, I think him, Militao and Rudiger as a sort of back three will be really, really handy because they're all quite good on the ball. They're all quite quick. They've got good recovery speed. So I feel like those three players really, really, now that I'm saying it out loud, really do fit that system. And then I think he'll probably play Tchouaméni and Valverde as sort of the double pivot. I think that those two, I think that Valverde is a player that, don't get me wrong, he's really good attacking wise, but I think that he's just so good at controlling the game. He's so fast, he's so powerful, he's a very powerful dribbler, and his cardio is insane. And Tchouaméni, obviously, we know what he brings to the table, winning the ball, picking it off of the defense. That's sort of what he's good at. So I think that those two would fit really well in that role. Now, in terms of on the width, on the left sort of wing back position, I feel like Fran Garcia, I think he could use Fran Garcia or Mendy, but I don't really, to be honest, I don't think either of them are good enough. So I do predict that he might go in for DeMarco from Inter Milan. I think that Xavi Alonso has his eye on him because he is probably the best left wing back in the world, in my opinion. I think he's very underrated, like the whole of Inter's team. But I think that, yeah. So I'm putting that out there, and I'm saying that Real Madrid are gonna go in for DeMarco sometime in the summer. Now, when it comes to the sort of midfield and attack, I think he'll probably play. I mean, no, he'll play Bellingham, but in the other sort of 10 position, I think he has to play Arda Güler. I think Arda Güler has proven himself a lot. Or he'll just play Bellingham and Vinny in the 10 positions. Which, to be honest, I don't know how that'll work because Vinny has never really played a central role. So who knows? We could see Vinny sort of get pushed out of the team a little bit. Do I think that will actually happen? Obviously not. But who knows? If he's not fitting, I feel like Xavi Alonso is a no-nonsense manager. I feel like if a player isn't fitting his system, no matter how good he is, no matter the rep he has, I think that he will just get him out of the team. So that obviously leaves Mbappe up top, who he is firing on all cylinders at the moment. I think he's going to be a big, big, big problem maker for Madrid in a good way, as in he's going to be a problem maker for the other team. But I think that's how they'll line up. I think the back, obviously Courtois and goal, the back three of Rudiger, the Bournemouth guy, sorry, I don't know how to say his name, and Militao when he comes back from injury eventually, and then Valverde and Tchouaméni in the double pivot. I think they'll go in for DeMarco for the left wing back position. I think on the right wing back position, I think when Carvajal comes back, I think he will play there. Even though he is old, I think he's good enough to play there. And obviously they'll play with Bellingham and Vinny in the 10 positions with Mbappe up top. Or I feel like Vinny might get pushed out of the squad because I feel like I just think Arda Güler has to start, bro. That's my honest opinion. I think he's such a baller. I think Xabi Alonso would be silly to not start him in that 10 position alongside Bellingham. I think Güler and Mbappe work really, really well together. I think we've seen that towards the end of this season. You know, they've got really, really good chemistry together. But one side of Xavi Alonso's job that I think people are overlooking is the man management aspect of it. Xavi Alonso was at Bayer Leverkusen. Don't get me wrong, he had unreal players, but Madrid are a different beast. You know, is he going to be able to keep all those names in check? Because that's one thing I forgot to give Ancelotti credit for in my last video, and it was his ability to man manage every single player, no matter how big their name was, no matter how much star power they have. So I think that it's going to be really interesting to see if Xavi Alonso can sort of have that same impact on the players. And if he will have the courage and the balls to drop players if they're not playing good enough and bring in other players that are typically not as popular or aren't in the starting 11 as regularly, such as maybe a Brahim Diaz or Arda Güler. So we could see Madrid really revamp next season. You know, I think Rodrigo will leave in the summer. I think he should. I don't think he gets in the starting 11. And Vinny, who knows what we'll see from him? We really don't know because I want to see him get back to the top. But this season, he's been really, really bad, in my opinion. Or not really bad. I just don't think he's met the standards that have been expected of him. I think he's been really overshone and outshined by Mbappe, which is valid because Mbappe has been playing on a whole completely different level compared to Vinny. Obviously, Madrid's squad depth as well is, you know, they've got stars on their bench as well. So how's he going to deal with managing big names on the bench as well as in the starting 11, you know? Bro, he'll pull up to preseason on the first day and he's going to be shocked to see Luka Modric first day of preseason.
You're alive. I can't believe it. Someone said you was dead.
You know, they got players on the bench like Camavinga. They'll probably have Ceballos on the bench as well. They got Endrick. You know, they've got everything. They've got young talent. So I'm really, really intrigued to see how Xabi Alonso handles all of it because it's going to be a very different job compared to the job he had at Bayer Leverkusen. You know, Bayer Leverkusen was a job of, you know, they weren't in the greatest position and he brought them up. But Madrid, he has to, not only are they a top club, he has to make them the best club in the world. So I'm really intrigued to see in his, what is this, his second or third managerial job, how he can handle it. But anyway, folks, that's all we have time for today. Maybe a bit of a shorter video compared to the last one, but I just wanted a little follow up on the Madrid one because it got a lot of love and support. If you like the video, like the video. If you dislike the video, then like the video anyway. If you disagree with me in the comments, feel free to let me know. You know, your opinions are always valid, always heard. So yeah, just feel free to let me know anything you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.